Hello, California. Good morning and welcome to another beautiful week. Happy Monday and a very special welcome to my guest host, fellow Marine, William King.
Good morning.
Welcome to the show, my brother.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
And happy Martin Luther King Day.
Happy Martin Luther King Day.
And happy Martin Luther King Day to all of you. We've got a very exciting show for everybody. We've got a lot of exciting stories. We're going to get into a lot of this good stuff later, but on Friday, Brianna Darby is going to be joining us as a special guest host. You know Brianna.
She's amazing.
Fellow Marine, so Semper Fidelis.
Army.
Fellow Army.
She's a soldier. She's going to be
Good
mad about
night.
that.
She probably will be mad about that, but how can you be mad about being called a Marine? So my mistake, Brianna. I apologize. So Brianna will be with us on Friday.
She should have been Marine.
Should have been a Marine. I think she would have been all right. She would have been just fine. I know it. And then Katie Serpa, my wife, is going to be joining us on Monday. So I will be very excited for that, as will, I'm sure, several of you guys. So here are today's top stories. There was a mysterious vehicle that was reported in French Valley Talk and was reported to the police. A neighbor, his 9-year-old son was on the way home, and they had sort of a suspicious and bizarre event. And so we wanted to let you guys know about that. It was off of Leeds in Manford, and so keep your eye out, and don't be afraid to knock somebody right in their freaking jaw if they're effing around with their children, right?
Right in the jugular.
Right in the jugular. If William and I are around, we'll be happy to do it for you. And then this is a picture that the kid drew of the van. We have Hands and Feet Outreach, Hands and Feet Ministry. They're going to be with us. They're going to be discussing their women's shelter and women's program that they have going on, women's and children program. So that will be great to have Kevin on the show. Kristian Ticas will be visiting him. And then as we get to the question of the day, we're going to talk about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. We're going to discuss 1968, everything that was happening with the Poor People's Campaign. We're jumping a little bit into that. And then we'll also discuss the war there in Vietnam. Of course, we have had quite the long war ourselves here, going on 19 years. Mm-hmm. And that will be part of the question of the day that we'll be discussing a little bit later in the show. But before we get to all of that stuff, and trust me, I'm very excited to get everybody involved with the question of the day. We've got our good friend of the show, Amy Larissa Smith with Ticor Title. She's going to give you guys the 5-day forecast. So we're going to send that to her right this minute. Amy Larissa Smith, how is the weather looking in Temecula Valley this week?
Temecula weather is looking fabulous. So we are going to start out warm today. We had a high of 79. It's going to be pretty nice towards the end of the week. We're going to cool down, looking like we're going to get some rain coming in. Towards middle of the week, 68, 69, that's Wednesday and Thursday here in Murrieta. Winchester, it's about the same. Starting to kind of cool down towards the end of the week. We're looking like we're going to get into the low 40s. And then towards Hemet area, the mid and low 30s. So it would probably be a great idea to bring in your little furry friends, bring in those pets, keep them warm, keep an eye on them. Definitely, San Jacinto, definitely a low of 39 on Friday. And Wildomar, we're going to get down to 35. That's really, really, really cold, almost freezing. So looking forward to having a great start at a warm week, and towards the end of the week, definitely getting cooler. High of 59 there in Lake Elsinore, and a low of 40. It's going to be a great week, you guys. Back to you, David, William.
Awesome. Amy, we appreciate you coming on to be a part of the show here with us. That was Amy Larissa Smith with Ticor Title.
Yeah, I wanted to look at that weather, David, the difference between how hot it is and how cold it is at night.
Yeah.
Southern California really has some weird weather. We was in the 80s this week, but we're going back down to the low 50s before the end of the week.
It's been a little bit all over the place. And we're going to start off, and we're going to drop about 20 degrees by the end of the week, and it's going to be we're going to see some rain here.
Yeah.
If everything goes according to plan.
Bring your umbrellas out for the end of the week.
Bring those umbrellas out. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to jump into Martin Luther King. He was a human being. He was a minister, a social rights activist. He was 39 years old when he was assassinated, and he had 4 children. Is that correct? 4 children. And a lot of people miss his humanity. A lot of people are looking at other people to get involved. A lot of people are blaming other people for the current state of the world. I feel like we could use a little bit of leadership these
Yes,
days.
we can.
And so Dr. Martin Luther King Day.
Yep.
So what I wanted to ask you guys out there in Facebook land is, what was your favorite, or what is your favorite Martin Luther King Jr. quote? And you told me what your favorite quote was there, William. And I'm going to go ahead and pull that up right now.
Yeah, let no man put you so low that as you to hate him. You know, we need a little bit more love in the world nowadays, especially what's going on with the election, the Capitol's been stormed, and everything that's happening within the world today. We need a little bit more love, but you shouldn't allow someone to put you down so far that you have to hate them.
I agree with you 100%, 100%, and I'm so glad that you brought that up.
Yeah.
Marianne Williamson talks about how love is the answer, and you've got a couple of machine gunners here.
Yeah.
You got a couple of Marines here looking at you, telling you love is the answer. Let no man pull you so low as to hate him. That was a great choice. I'm glad that you took the opportunity to pull that up. What was your favorite Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. quote? I'm going to pull up a really long one. I have a tendency of doing things like this, but here we go. So Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated in 1968. It was during this time that he was talking about the Poor People's Campaign. And he said this about the war in Vietnam, about the global consciousness. He says, we do face many more difficulties as a result of war. It's much more difficulty to really arouse a conscience during a time of war. I noticed the other day, some weeks ago, some Negro was shot down in Chicago, and it was a clear case of police brutality. That was on page 30 of the paper, but on page 1 at the top was 780 Viet Cong killed. There's something about war like this that makes people insensitive. It dulls a conscience. It strengthens the forces of reaction, and it brings into being bitterness and hatred and violence. And it strengthened the military-industrial complex of our country. It's made our job much more difficult because I think we can go along with some of these programs if we didn't have this war on our hands. That would cause some people to adjust to new developments, just as they did in the South. They said they'd never ride the bus with us. Blood would flow in the streets. They wouldn't go to school and all of these things. But when people come to see they had to do it, because the law insisted, they finally adjusted. I think white people all over this country will adjust once the nation makes it clear that in schools and housing, we've got to learn to live together as brothers.
That was powerful.
I agree. Thank
I know
you.
it was a long excerpt, but there's a lot to take away from that.
I agree. It's one of those things, like you said, it's hard to rouse a global conscience during a time of war.
Yeah.
We've been at war for 19 years. I went to Afghanistan. I think you went to both Afghanistan and Iraq?
Afghanistan and Iraq.
Yeah, and I can tell you, I don't want my children going. And not only that, but I don't want other people's children being shot at.
Right.
I don't want bombs being dropped on other people. We're at a point right now to where just 1% of America's national budget for the military would lift every man, woman, and child above the poverty line. And so what are we really concentrating on? Dr. Martin Luther King was talking about his Poor People's Campaign, which there has been a revival for right now. What specifically about Dr. Martin Luther King's life inspires you?
Just his will to do better.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, everything he did, everything he was fighting for in life, it was for everyone to become better. Not just himself, not just for the black community, but for the white community as well.
I agree
He
with
wanted everyone to love. He wanted everyone to be better. So it wasn't just about focus on the black community and fighting for people's rights. It was everyone is equal. We're all human. We all bleed the same blood, which is red.
Yeah.
So he wanted everyone to be a better person, a better version of themselves.
Absolutely. I think it's one of those things. Would you mind reaching out to Kristian and getting him on the horn for the next interview? It's one of those things where we tend to lose the humanity of these people, of our heroes. We tend to sort of as Alan Watts says, push Jesus up on the cross, right?
Yep.
And when we do that, when we only think about their small quotes, their small excerpts, we really forget about their life's work and what was so incredibly important about them. And one of the things that I find incredibly interesting about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is his humanity.
Yes.
I think that the truth is he was human just like the rest of us, but he made some extraordinary decisions to rise above his human and to start shaping the kingdom of heaven here on earth. So very happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day to everybody. If you have a favorite quote, feel free to let us know. And then what we're going to do is we're going to start preparing for the next segment of our show, which is which is going to be about the Hands and Feet Ministry. So Hands and Feet Ministry, and let me go ahead and pull down our weather broadcast there. Hands and Feet Ministry is working on a women's program right now. And this women's program is designed to help women and children. We're going to find out a little bit more about this. But there's something that I am very open about. I don't hide from anybody. I was raised by a single mother. We were in and out of Section 8, or we lived in Section 8 housing until we aged out of it in 5 years. I spent my senior year, in the last part of my junior year, homeless, which is part of the reasons why we're trying to educate people here in real estate. But what's happening right now, I was during Christmas time, we were in a shelter. And my mom, my two younger sisters, we were in a shelter. And that's a pretty humbling experience. It is a pretty terrifying experience. And so what we've been doing here on our community news is we've been reaching out to good people and nonprofits and businesses that are doing a little bit more.
Right.
And we've been trying to celebrate the people who are really giving back, who are putting their hands on humanity and serving a little bit. And I'm extraordinarily grateful that there is a group of people out there like Hands and Feet Ministry. I don't know any of them personally, but Kristian Ticas speaks highly of them because we have to be able to do things for the people who are unable to do for us.
Agreed. Now, David, if there were programs like that available back when you were living in poverty, how much better do you think your life would have been? Do you think it would have taken you just as long to, reach above the poverty line?
That's an interesting question. There was a program. Okay. And it was called New Morning Youth and Family Services up in Northern California. And New Morning Youth and Family Services took my mom and my two younger sisters and I in when we had nowhere to go, when we were homeless. And they gave me counseling when I was young. I remember when I was 12 years old or 11 years old, I got a soccer ball for Christmas. They gave me a soccer ball for Christmas. I didn't even like soccer.
Okay.
But I could tell you, I got that soccer ball and I took it outside and I sat down by myself and I just started crying because it was one of those moments where somebody, somewhere, cared enough about me
right.
to bring in a gift, to donate it to a random person. And I was like, oh, I don't need a gift. I'm a big kid. I'm all right. But at the end of the day, I got this soccer ball. And it was very overwhelming. I'm even getting overwhelmed a little bit right now talking about it. We have an opportunity to heal people. We have an opportunity to give to people. And that's one of the reasons why we do these toy drives right here in French Valley. We did it again this year. I know what it's like to be a child.
Right.
And I know what it's like to be down and out. And so if we never lose that about ourselves, we'll be able to really build a community for people so that they don't have to struggle. I can tell you that I had no idea what I was going to do when I graduated from high school.
Okay.
You know what I mean? That's part of the reason why I started this real estate school. Everybody was going off to college. I had no idea what I was going to do. And that ended up being a really big thing for me eventually was finding real estate.
Good.
So right now we're going to go ahead and swap out the section with Kristian up in Wildomar with Hands and Feet Ministry. I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit here about what happened in French Valley the other day. Just like I said, it's just a heads up. This incident happened on Leeds Street in Manford. In Monet, my 9-year-old son was on his bike, was confronted by two men in a white van. He said it had locks on the back and pitch black windows with studs all over it. The men were wearing face masks and they were making come here motions with their hands. This is my son's drawing. If anyone lives in the area, please check your cameras. That's one of the big suggestions. I heard this. This was one of those things that they started talking about immediately on French Valley Talk. And there is good advice, and then there's really good advice. And I can tell you, my advice, I'm a little bit of a Neanderthal when it comes to things like this. I said, hey, let's make a show out of somebody. Mm-hmm. Let's if they want to mess with our kids, let me catch you acting stupid. I live in the Monet Homeowners Association. Come find me on Kill Court. try to put me in the back of your van. I'll be looking for you. And like, I'm getting real tired of this kind of stuff. And I know I'm not alone.
Right.
And I said, I'll go ahead and I'll bust your freaking jaw if you come flying down in my neighborhood, messing with kids. And I know I'm not alone, but somebody said, hey, listen, let's check our cameras.
Right. So most homes these days, they come with the ring system.
Yeah.
And the ring system can really, it can get a lot of a view just from your doorbell.
That's right.
I don't know if people know, if you have a ring system, you can go on your actual app and look inside of your community. You can see all of the things that's happening within your community that people are actually posting about. So if you educate your kids about seeing random white vehicles without any type of business logos on them or anything like that, because typically if we've learned through history that most people are abducted and it's in a white van.
Yeah, there's a reason why
it has not changed in hundreds of years. A white van with dark windows.
White van, dark windows. Why is it still the same free candy creeps going out there trying to make it happen with the dark?
They dangle candy in front of the kids and say, come on over here. So talk to your kids about not talking to strangers.
Talk to your kids about not talking to strangers, and that's a great transition.
Yeah, it's okay to say hi, but keep it moving. Wave your hand, say hello, but bye.
We act like this is a new thing. Like this is something that has never happened before. When we were younger, there were creeps too.
Correct.
There were people that would, and we had somebody in our neighborhood. I remember growing up, Zach, that was harassing people. It was a white truck.
Yeah.
That time it was a white truck.
Yeah.
And so Zach Bach, can I say that you're? Yeah. So Zachary Bach is a law enforcement officer, and he has joined us right here in studio. He's going to talk to us a little bit about some things that you can do as a member of our community, as a parent, to keep safe. And so, Mr. Zach Bach, here we go. Zach, you ready for some safety tips?
Absolutely. Thank you, David.
You're very welcome.
So my name is Zachary Bach. I am a law enforcement officer, and I've been in the military, and I've done just a lot of stuff. And it's some of the cases I used to run were crimes against children cases. Unfortunately, they do exist in this world, and it's something that we have to deal with. One of the best ways to eliminate those cases is people coming together as a community. And I'm going to go over 6 tips today on ways that you can keep yourself and your children safe when it comes to those. All of us know the quintessential white van with free candy down the side. That we say, okay, well, obviously I would not walk up to that van. I love Good and Plenty's, but if he's offering Good and Plenty's, I'm not going to eat him out of the free van. And so that's very obvious. And this guy here. I tell my son Jackson, I say, how do you deal with a bully and a bad guy? I say you punch him in the nose. You go, hoo-yah! And you pound him in the nose, just like Batman. And then he ends up just like that. But it's not always so obvious. There's certain things that you can do as a parent to make sure that you're keeping your kids safe. Now, I'm guilty of doing some of these, and I've had to really make sure that I taught my son to make sure that I'm on top of my game. And the first thing that you need to make sure you have is situational awareness. The 3 of us in studio right now, we're military veterans. Situational awareness is harped on from day one of basic training. Situational awareness, situational awareness, situational awareness. Watch out for backpacks. Watch out for people trying to jump the fence, stuff like that. But situational awareness can also mean that you simply just need to pay attention to your surroundings. If something doesn't feel right, something doesn't look right, and something just doesn't make a lot of sense, you might go, you know what? Something is wrong with this. And noticing that car that's been driving around your neighborhood that doesn't fit in. Noticing that white van. Noticing at the grocery store that something doesn't seem right. Why has that person been driving around looking for a parking spot when there's plenty available? Why has that person been following us through the store? Making sure that you're aware of your surroundings is the number one thing that you can do.
Why does that person have free candy written in blood?
Why does it say free candy down the side of the
candy
van?
really free?
Is the candy really free? And so the next thing is never alone. Now, some of us can get a little complacent. Hey, go ahead and, David used to live right around the corner from me. Our sons were not old enough, but we probably would have gotten to the point when he said, hey, just go ahead and walk over to David's house. Go and walk. Now, David and I grew up in the middle of the forest. We were much more likely to get attacked by a mountain lion than we were somebody in a free van. But how complacent are you with your children saying, hey, go ahead and walk over to Bobby's house. Walk over to Susie's house. It's only a block over. Everything is fine. I'm a Boy Scout leader. One of the things that we harp on in Boy Scouts is the buddy system. Making sure that you always have a buddy everywhere you go. Well, you as a parent need to be your kid's buddy. If they don't have that buddy, you need to be that buddy. And you need to teach your kids to, if they get approached, to make sure that they know that they need to not be talking to that person. So, next thing, updated pictures. One thing that I constantly see in child cases is we see pictures of kids in sports uniforms. We see pictures of kids at Thanksgiving. We see kids when they're at their best. Take some pictures of your kids when they first wake up in the morning, when they're a little disheveled, when they're not looking their best. Because oftentimes when law enforcement has to find your child, they're not going to look their best. And if they're looking for Bobby or Susie, and Bobby or Susie are looking like their school picture, that's not what your child's going to look like. And so make sure you have some updated pictures of your kids. And going along with that, make sure that if your child has any scars, any identifying marks, you have those written down somewhere so you can give that package to law enforcement to help them in the situation if they wish to come up. Now this is one especially for your kids. Get loud. What do I teach my son? I say, Jackson, if anybody ever grabs you, punch him in the nose as hard as you can. Punch him in the throat. If it's a man, kick him in the penis. You need to have those conversations with your kids about language like that, and tell your kid to get as loud as possible. Scream, kick, yell, gouge at the eyes. Do everything you can. Get as loud as possible, because these child abductors, they want an easy target. They don't want somebody that's going to scream and make noise and attack back. They want somebody that's just going to go with the flow. So teach your kids, get as loud as possible. Attack as much as you possibly can, which goes right into our next one, self-defense. So with self-defense, does that mean you need to be in karate and you need to be a black belt, you need to be taking judo and jiu-jitsu? No. But should you know how to defend yourself? Absolutely. And this goes for everybody. You should have an awareness of how to defend yourself. In a stressful situation, oftentimes people will fight, they flight, or they freeze. Unfortunately, a lot of people end up freezing because they don't know what to do in a stressful situation. So make sure your children know what to do. Make sure your kid knows, hey, if I need to punch them in the face and gouge their eyes out, that's what I'm going to do. So the last thing is communication. And this comes up to my comment earlier. A lot of parents in the United States have trouble saying the word penis to their child. Have trouble, and David's laughing, have trouble saying the words vagina to their child. You need to have those open lines of communication with your child, because they need to be able to say to you, hey, somebody did X, Y, and Z to me, and it made me feel uncomfortable. And that's one of the most important things you can do, is have those open lines of communication with your child. If you have any questions on this, feel free to reach out to me. My name is Zachary Bach. You can ask me for tips. You can criticize me if you want. That's fine too. I can take it. Let me know if you need any help. Back to you, David. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Now, David, I know we made a few jokes about the situation, but it's really not a laughing matter.
It is.
There's a lot of people out there that needs to be aware, and they need to utilize these tips that Zachary just provided.
Yeah, we were I snickered a little bit when Zach said penis, things like that.
We've been doing that since I think it's the Marine Corps.
Maybe even before the Marine Corps. But the truth is there are these sort of situations that a little bit of knowledge could potentially save your life,
right? And
that's one of them. So Zach Bach is a law enforcement officer. I can't say really a whole hell of a lot else about him because he's such a stinker and gets mad at me. Secret squirrel. Amy is, I know this is Amy because it says take Krav Maga lessons. Amy is commenting through our community, says take Krav Maga lessons. Amy was the first female Krav Maga instructor in the Air Force, and she's a fellow combat veteran as well. Ivy Hope.
Don't mess with her.
Don't mess with Amy at all.
Yeah.
She says a huge issue is also online communications, especially considering our kids are now on computers and iPads 24/7 with online learning.
Yes.
That's the truth.
Yeah, and technology is everywhere when it comes to children with their PS5, PS4s, Xbox. Online is very accessible.
Yeah, sometimes.
So it's important to talk to our kids about what things to look for online when you're talking to people.
Yeah,
you shouldn't be inviting random people to your game.
There it is. And also, that's one of the big things that happens. A lot of these initial communications happen online between child predators and these children.
Right.
They develop that rapport, they develop that relationship, and the next thing you know, things escalate.
Check on your kids, too, when they're playing games. Ask them, who are you playing with online?
Why are you cussing like a 38-year-old combat veteran?
Right. I talked to my son one time. I said, who are you playing with? Who are you playing Fortnite with?
Yeah.
He'll say, Timmy. Who's Timmy?
That's right.
No,
100%.
Where does Timmy live at? Did you go to school with Timmy?
It's been nice.
No, I met him online. Okay, cut Timmy off.
With everything, I love it. With everything that's been happening with online learning and COVID-19, it has been nice having that sort of that backup for my kids get on there, they play with their cousins, they play with Zach's kid, and but you absolutely have to be involved.
You have to.
When your kids have internet service, you cannot pretend like there can't be a predator just like right there. Ivy Hope, Zach's beautiful wife, says predators are prevalent on video games and online platforms, communicating with kids. preventing to be people they aren't, or pretending to be people they aren't. Parents need to have talks with their kids about not talking to people they don't know online. We tell our son that if you don't actually know the user in person, you should not be talking to them because they can pretend to be anyone.
And that's what we've just been talking about.
Yeah, and you know what's funny is, and just on the other side of this, my nephew thought it was really funny to be a 9-year-old. He's a 9-year-old boy. He was pretending like he was a woman, girl, and just talking a bunch of trash. I'm like, listen, you're gonna get yourself into some trouble, nephew.
Correct.
but like,
Not necessarily the best thing to do.
so it's, but yeah, there's definitely.
Your nephew's bored.
The nephew needs to find a hobby, and we've been talking about that, right, Aim? We're like getting ready to buy a mat and start wrestling these kids in the studio. Okay, so Kristian is actually in the lobby now at this point. We're going to wrap up with Ivy's comments. She says, predators, domestic terrorists, and international terrorists are all online, actively recruiting children and young adults. So have the talk with your kids, or they might become terrorists.
Huh. Then they got to deal with us.
Next thing you know, your kids are playing Fortnite, and then all of a sudden they're terrorists. All right. Next thing you know, Jackson and Wyatt are terrorists because they're playing Fortnite, and we just didn't give them a little bit of supervision.
They got recruited.
Damn, you got to watch these damn kids. Next thing you know, they're terrorists. All right, so we've got Kristian Ticas at this point with Hands and Feet Ministry, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring him onto the show and have him explain to us what he's doing.
Good morning, gentlemen. How's my feed?
Kristian, stinker butt.
There you are.
Hit me with
I
it.
barely hear you.
Tell me the good word.
Hi there. I'm here in lovely Wildemar.
I'm not hearing you.
You're not hearing me?
Uh-oh.
I
Ding,
can
ding,
hear you
ding.
now. Oh.
Okay. Yeah, the audio's not coming through. Do you have a microphone that you're hooked up there to? If you have a microphone, just go ahead and unplug it and use the internal mic. He's on now?
How about now?
Oh, Kristian, we got
I hear
you.
myself.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add you to the show. All right, take it away, my dude.
Turn on your TV. Hi there. How are you guys? Can you hear us now?
We can hear you, Kristian. Go ahead.
Perfect. All righty. Good morning, guys. I'm here in lovely Wildemar with, actually, it's not Kevin Druhy. It's his wife, Monica Druhy.
Hi, good morning.
And we are in this lovely compound, actually branch. I mean, it's a beautiful property out here in Wildemar where they have an amazing ministry program for people that really just want to better their lives. This is the Hands and Feet Ministry ranch, and the purpose of this ministry really is to help disciple and help actually men and women get on their feet and really just give them proper biblical tools and just even tools for life in general, so they can actually be better off citizens and human beings. So Monica is Kevin's wife, and she helps run the facility as well. And she's going to give us a little background on how long Hands and Feet's been around and kind of the sole purpose of this ministry in itself and what the real goal is. Thank you for being here, Monica.
Yeah, so Kevin wants to create an environment, a church that is described by the Bible. And he wants an environment where people can come and just fellowship. And he wants to create areas where they can rest and have some time with the Lord and read their Bible and peace. And we also want to create an area like a kitchen area where they could come and make food and do their laundry and just get out of the world and be in the presence of God. And we have a petting zoo for the children so that they can bring their children and take care of the animals and just kind of get out of 2020 and 2021 and more into, the 1900s, 100 years ago, where it was just more peaceful and the world was more focused on the Lord.
Right, and the ranch here actually has 22 bungalows that they're still in process of finalizing with permits, and they're all. It's going to be a live-in ranch where people can come and literally just get discipled and given the necessary tools and really kind of just educated a little on a more purist level of things, really, and just allowing them to just kind of, especially if they come from circumstances of abuse, circumstances of just bad upbringings, whatever it is, it gives people here really a second chance and a way to live without really just, having the world kind of beat down on them. So the purpose of also is also just giving them a place of a community, a sense of community for the Hands and Feet outreach. Hands and Feet's also a church as well. They meet regularly, right?
Yes.
And there's other programs and outreach through Hands and Feet as well. Do you know which other ones that you guys also are still active with?
Yes, absolutely. We go to different nursing homes and just fellowship with them, bring them the word, and sing worship music with them. And we also have our men and women's studies on Tuesdays. We have service on Sundays and Wednesdays. And Thursday, we just get together and sing hymns and worship the Lord.
Yes, definitely. And obviously you guys are open, and it's open for whoever needs a place to just feel welcomed and connected. We applaud the fact that they've taken, if Pastor Kevin was here, he would share a little more in regards to how he actually made this all come together, really just selling everything he owned in order to make this thing a reality for a lot of people as well, and just living on the property himself, just to have a better connection and a better relationship with everyone that comes through here as well. Let me see, what are some of the plans or goals that you guys have for the community? Some of the things that you guys are already in the talks of doing for the people that come here.
Well, we have a men's closet and a women's closet, so people who don't have any clothes or maybe need a warm jacket or some blankets, we want to be able to provide that for them. Mm-hmm. And we also have a food pantry where we have extra cans and some food for anyone who needs food. And then Kevin's here all the time, so he's able to disciple them, answer any questions, show them what the Bible says about maybe situations they're going through. He's always available.
Right. And also, this is an opportunity for people that want to get involved that can. This ministry in itself is also, it's one of those ministries that's self-funded. So if people want to donate time, money, efforts, resources, what's the best way to get a hold of you guys here?
Well, you could text Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
We also have a website, www.handsandfeetoutreach.com. And as you were saying, that the Bible verse that came to mind is that the harvest is plentiful and the laborers are few.
That is it.
So, even if you want to just come out and help us organize clothes, or if you want to help plant, or you have the gift of building, you could help us build the kitchen or the laundry room. There's so much to do. So your gifts could be used.
Yeah, and it's one of those places where you can come and show off your talents. You can actually help mentor others as well and teach them whatever your skills are. It's a great opportunity just to give back here in the heart of Wildomar. And before we sign off, we're going to do just a quick video so you guys can kind of see all the little bungalows. And then I will send it back to both David and William there. So these are some of the bungalows. And as you can see, there's a lot of projects that probably need people's help with. So again, reach out, Hands and Feet Ministry in Wildomar. They're right off of Grand. And it's an amazing little place that really shines, especially helping others get, just fed, not only spiritually, but also physically as well. So David, William, back to you guys in the studio.
All right, fantastic, great job, Kristian Ticas. What a pleasure to have was it Monica on the show. Wow,
Hands and Feet are really doing a lot of things for the community, especially the bungalows. They were really nice. They looked like they were well built as well.
Yeah, that was something else. That's one of those things where, you want to find a radical, find somebody that sold everything that they own and decided to help people.
Right.
So kudos to Kevin, kudos to Monica and everybody at Hands and Feet Ministry for supporting women and children and at their lowest point. And so thank you so much for everything that you guys continue to do. What a big deal.
Yeah, David, if you could just please give that website one more time. So if you ever need any help, if you feel like you have nowhere else to go, just please reach out to Hands and Feet Outreach.
We'll make sure that we get it in the comments where the website is. I know that they are on Facebook at Hands and Feet. And so if that's how I actually ended up finding them, their website, handsandfeetoutreach.com. There you go.
There you go.
Handsandfeetoutreach.com if you or somebody you know might need some help. And what a beautiful property that they're putting together. That's something else. We talked about the infamous white van.
The famous white van.
What if it's just one white van that's just all over the world, just like the opposite of Santa Claus, just doing all the bad deeds? So we talked about the van out there doing bad things, and sort of Zach, the law enforcement officer, gave you guys some tips for how to keep you and your community safe. Sarah Ticas said awesome about all the good things that are happening over there at Hands and Feet. And then we talked about, wished everybody a happy Martin Luther King Day. My friend William King gave his favorite Martin Luther King quote. And then we went to the question of the day. Amy Larissa Smith gave you guys the 5-day forecast and told you guys that there is rain coming Thursday, Friday, and to bring those pets indoors. I want to encourage you to contact us at Our Community on Facebook or on Our Community News on YouTube. Subscribe, and remember, not only are we on Facebook and YouTube, we're right here in the French Valley Village Plaza, and we do help people buy and sell real estate. Everybody says, what is it that you guys are doing? We do everything, but we also help people sell real estate. So
Jack of all trades, huh?
Jack of all trades.
I like it.
And hopefully, not a master of it, really anything. I'm not trying to pretend. No, I'm just kidding. No, we really, it's about French Valley for me. Brianna Darby's going to be here on Friday. She's going to guest host with me.
The former Army soldier.
The former Army soldier.
Right.
I will be very excited about seeing Brianna.
She's already gotten a couple of awards in 2021 in her brokerage.
Has she?
Yeah. She's already doing great things. It's only been, 18 days? What is the date today? The 23rd?
Brianna's one of those people that if you miss out on like 3 days of Brianna, you've missed out on like a year of
knowledge.
Yeah.
She does everything. I'm not going to go into her whole spiel, but she's such an amazing person, especially the way she's conducting her business. She does everything. Whatever you need, she's truly a one-stop shop.
I'm really excited about having Brianna on the show. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then on Monday, of course, my wife is going to join me, Katie Serpa.
The lovely Katie Serpa.
The lovely Katie Serpa is going to join us for the show.
So
we appreciate you guys watching. Thank you so much to William King for joining me today.
No worries. Thanks for having me, David. I
appreciate you being a part of the show. And if you guys like this, feel free to like and subscribe. Follow us on Facebook. Buy and sell some real estate with us if you want to buy and sell some real estate with us. We had our first day of our adult school if you want to get started in real estate and all that good stuff.
How did that turn out, by the way?
Oh, it was fantastic.
Good.
It was beautiful. It was amazing. You can find it on Facebook. You can already find that on YouTube as well. We're doing a free online real estate education course for people that are unemployed, underemployed, looking to start a new career in real estate. And so that's something that it is also being translated live into Spanish by Andres de Arense or Kristian Ticas, depending on who ends up being there. And then Tobias Justin said, thank you for doing that. It was awesome. We had a few people watching on Facebook, but we also had over 20 people tuned in on Zoom, all working on getting licensed.
Good.
Yeah. So thank you for asking.
You're welcome.
All right, Temecula Valley. All right, California. Thank you guys so much for watching. Everybody have a great week, and we'll see you on Friday for the weekend edition of Our Community News. Have a great day.
Have a great day, guys.